Welcome to back to another episode on the EaglePod. Today's guest is Blendi Muriqi, founder and CEO of Delegate, a game changer in the remote staffing world. Blendi is building something truly exciting, uh, blending AI-powered systems with top-tier virtual assistant solutions to help businesses scale more efficiently. So I'm really excited to have you on the show, and I know you have a ton of valuable advice for anyone, starting a business. So thank you
Yeah,
for being here.
I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that this is my first Albanian themed podcast. I have I'm very excited to have a conversation with a fellow Albanian. So we're a small population in the United States, but we're a thriving one. So I really enjoy seeing folks like you going out there and interviewing, talking to other Albanians, and showing the success in our people.
Can you talk a little bit about your Albanian background? I always start out the podcast just like going all in. Like, were you born here? What part of
Yeah.
Albania are you from? All that sort of stuff.
So I was born here in the United States, in here in New York City. Both my parents are from Kosovo. My dad came here in the late 80s, my mom in the 90s. So we've been here for quite a long time. But we go every year back to Kosovo. We try to like keep the roots going. Um,
Oh, what part of Kosovo?
so on the west side of Kosovo, Peja,
Okay.
Rogova. So shout out to all of the folks from Rogov and Peja. Um, but yeah, so I grew up here, but I grew up speaking Albanian. I grew up going each year for, like most people probably watching, you go in the summertime to see your family, your cousins. So I was very much from an early age ingrained in the Albanian culture, but also was brought up in an American culture.
You said you live in New York currently. Have you always lived in New York?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, so basically when my dad first came here, we settled in Yonkers and then the Bronx, and then um my brother, I have two younger brothers. We moved up, my family and I, we moved up to like Westchester, Putnam. So the interesting thing is when we moved up there, like there weren't any Albanians. It was just us. And then over the course of like 10 years, all the Albanians started moving to that neighborhood. So we had a lot of Albanians also in our neighborhood. And then I went through middle school, high school, up there, and then I moved back down to the city, went to Fordham University for there's a lot of Albanians that have gone to Fordham University. It's a university in the Bronx in the city, and graduated from there. And yeah,
Nice.
that's a little bit about my
Yeah.
life, I guess.
What did you major in?
I majored in political science,
Okay.
so I was a pre-law student. I had every intention of going to law school,
Okay.
and so I was in my last year of college, had studied political science, had taken the LSAT, applied to law schools, and at the very last second, I got an opportunity to work in real estate
Okay.
for a real estate investment company. Um, and I remember the owner of the company coming to me and saying, well, listen, kid, you could go to law school and just drop this opportunity or come work with me. And after a year, if you want, you can go back to law school. Law school will always be there. And so I decided to take that risk. And I had gotten, very good LSAT scores, got into good law schools, and I decided to forego that
Oh my
to
God.
learn underneath someone that like was very successful.
Mhm.
And I'm super glad I did that in the long run because I think that looking back, I would have hated being a lawyer.
Really?
Yeah, because I saw a lot of my friends that went the same path,
Yeah.
and now like they're doing extremely well in their careers. Um, but they're like, I hate this. Like this is not what it was as glorified
Cool.
as it is. I
Yeah.
remember watching the show Suits.
Yeah. Oh,
And
I love that show. Yeah.
yeah, I remember watching that show and being like, wow, this is like really fun. And later on, when my friends started becoming lawyers, they're like, it's not like Suits.
Yeah. No, that's like in medicine and Grey's Anatomy, where everyone like wants to be a doctor thinking it's like all that, and it's not. We glorify. I feel like the Albanian culture glorifies a lot of these like careers, like doctor, lawyer, all this stuff.
Accountants.
Yeah, but I mean,
What I will say is like what I do appreciate about our people and especially in the diaspora, we're super hardworking. And no matter what direction we take, whether it's professional services or businesses, like jemi puntor, like we work hard.
well, I was gonna ask you about the Albanian parade in New York recently. I think it was yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Yeah, yeah. Did you end up going?
No,
Uh,
I didn't end up going, but I live right here in the city,
okay.
so it ended up coming to me. So
Oh, okay. Nice.
like I looked outside, I was like, oh, there's they're walking through. So I didn't end up going this year. But I've went in the past and it's nice to see, especially I think it's really important for younger kids,
Mhm.
that younger families, they want to get their kids uh, ingrained in the Albanian culture. I think it's important for them especially to go.
Yeah, and now they're finally the schools in New York, I think, they offer like Albanian courses, K through
Yeah.
12. Isn't that the first
It-
state to do that?
yeah.
Uh,
I don't know about the public school system,
okay.
but I do know that there's a lot of organizations, um, like Albanian American organizations that are they're giving Albanian courses, and I think that's super important. Like I didn't have that as a kid.
Yeah.
My mom had to like give me an avatar at
Yeah.
like that she had from when she was a kid to like learn Albanian. I went to school in the Bronx, like it was like kindergarten, and I wouldn't speak. So like teacher would ask me questions and I would just be like mute.
Yeah.
And I remember them calling my mom, or at the time this is how my mom recalled it. She's like, yeah, they called me and they're like, we think that your son has like some sort of learning disability or something because he's unresponsive.
Yeah.
And she's like, that's so weird because he doesn't shut up when he's at home. And then they realized that like I just didn't know how to speak English. So they then put me in ESL
Oh, they did.
classes.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. But then like within a year I was speaking English.
yeah.
And then it kind of turned over, like my English got better than my Albanian.
Okay.
Um and but yeah, I
Uh,
feel like a lot of Albanians have had that experience.
yeah. No, I did. Did you have an accent when you were learning Albanian initially, or because
Uh,
you speak
uh,
it fine now, or English?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure because it was spoken at home, so I think that I did. And every once in a while, someone does say that I have a little bit of an accent.
Okay.
Um, but now it's actually the opposite. When I go to back to
Yeah.
Kosovo and they hear me speaking Albanian, they know I'm from
You're
America.
right.
Like you speak like an American.
That's me too. And oh yeah, so when I was in first grade, I had the thickest. Albanian accent, which is crazy.
Really?
I did, yeah. And like I'll watch like we have like old family videos that I don't know if your family did this, but ours would whenever my grandparents would go back to like Albania, he would like record all of us here in the States. And so
Oh my God.
and
That's
I don't
great.
know if it was the same thing, like Prishilnatia, Prishilnatia, and then they would list out all the people in Albania that we're saying hi to. I don't
Wow.
and so like I have these videos of like me trying to speak in Albanian and also like speaking in English and like singing too, which is so embarrassing now. I'm like, why'd you send that over? But singing too, and I'm just like I had the thickest accent. I don't even know. I'm so happy like it wore off because it was so bad. Yeah, it's like the little things like that. We're trying to just immerse the two cultures together, and sometimes it's so difficult to like find a good balance. I feel like we do a great job of keeping our culture alive here.
I remember a few years ago there was this event and Eddie Rama was there. It was a the Israeli it was at the Israeli embassy or consulate,
Mm.
and so he was there talking with a lot of Israeli diplomats. Now, love him or hate him, he made a really good point. He said that Albanians need to be more like the Israeli Jewish diaspora in that they, yes, there's competitive amongst them and whatnot, but they have a larger goal of helping each other and being united. And I think we do a good job of that for the most part. We do help each other, but I have heard that kind of competitiveness. Oh, it hoop your national pride. Oh, you lost the language, and this is a it's an interesting conversation and interesting rivalry, but I think for the most part, Albanians that are here in America, they're hardworking.
Yeah.
They're trying their best to make the most of their life,
Yeah.
support their families, and so on.
Yeah. And we have these great organizations like the Shochatas and all the other ones. And we have the Albanian parade yesterday in New York. I feel like New York has like the most.
We have one of the biggest populations too. So, you're based in North Carolina?
Yeah, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Is there a lot of Albanians down there?
So what they're very low key here is what I'm figuring out.
Yeah.
So it's like I starting out, I didn't really have any Albanian friends, like people my age, but most of them are like I feel like younger.
Oh yeah.
And like you wouldn't know by their last name either, because like either they married someone outside of our
Yeah.
culture or they just have a name change or they pretend like they don't speak Albanian.
Wow.
Like you, the only way you would really find out is if like you knew someone who knew them, who knew their family, and then you're like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
this guy owns this place and they're Albanian. Like I would have never get like I thought Italian or it's like very low key like that. So
Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we're all over. I was at a fundraiser like a month or two ago,
yeah,
and they're the guys that organized it, they were from Texas. And I was like, I didn't know there was Albanians in Texas because you hear Michigan, Michigan, New York are the two main states, but there's especially after the war in Kosovo, there was refugees that settled in different parts of the United States. So like we have a pretty significant population in, I think, Iowa, uh, also Texas, Boston,
yeah.
Massachusetts. We're all over the
New
place.
Jersey. Yeah, we are. California, some of them too. Literally everywhere. Literally everywhere you go. I'm sure you could find one Albanian.
Yeah.
You kind of talked a little bit about like just wanting to go to law school. An opportunity showed up for you. You started working for that other company in real estate. And then how did you go about creating your own company, like your own startup, Delegate.
Yeah,
What
I've
was
always had an
your inspiration?
always had an entrepreneurial bone in my body. So when I was 17, in high school, I started my first business at the age of 17 with my best friend. We were high school students, and at our school, we had a requirement to graduate. In order to graduate from high school, you needed 40 hours of community service a year. And at the time, the school was still keeping track of this with paper, pen, and an Excel sheet, which was super inefficient.
Yeah.
And so my friend and I were like, why don't we just create a software and have our school use that so that we can keep track of our hours? And we did that. We rolled it out and beta tested it in the school. And then we said, oh my God, we can like sell this to other
Oh, wow.
schools.
Yeah.
So in our last year of high school, we literally like we would leave an hour before school ended, and we would take our car and just drive from school to school and try and sell the software. So we were able to, that was our first foray with entrepreneurship. And then, fast forward post college, when I got this opportunity to work for this real estate company, one of the things that one of my jobs was in recruitment and staffing. So the company was growing very quickly, and we needed to staff up customer service agents, operations managers, bookkeepers, and that's very difficult and expensive to do in a place like New York City. And so what I started doing was looking overseas because there's a lot of really smart, talented people overseas that are looking for work, and they would love to work for an American company. So I started doing that for this real estate company. And then eventually I realized that a lot of other people need this. So I I left that company, and I started Delegate with the purpose of helping businesses scale up their recruitment, bring in talented people from places like the Philippines to work for them, whether it's for customer service, bookkeeping, or operations.
Okay, nice. Wow. Okay. So how long has since you founded Delegate?
Well, we've been around for 3 years.
Okay.
I've been doing recruitment and staffing for the last 8 years.
Okay.
But we've been around for, yeah, for 3 years we've been doing this.
Okay.
And so we have offices here
Mhm.
and in the Philippines. And soon we're also going to be opening something in Kosovo. We're re looking right now into starting a Kosovo satellite office to start hiring more people over there. And it's a way to kind of give back too. There were people, and specifically in the real estate industry and the clients that I had,
Mhm.
um, the Philippines had a really good track record, and the wages, um, they're they're very low compared to American wages.
Okay.
So I already had I built an infrastructure there in the Philippines, and then, that has been established, and now I'm like, okay, I've seen also the talent that comes out of Kosovo working with other companies, and it's phenomenal. Like, just the other day, I had a meeting with a company. They do marketing services, and their team is based in Pristine. And I'm like, these guys, super intelligent, very well spoken, like perfect English. You would think that they were born and raised here in the United States.
Yeah.
Right now, we're working with, not employing, but we're
Okay.
working with folks in Kosovo. But I'm actually going next month, and one of the things we're setting up some meetings um, with the universities there. trying to get the contacts. Because one thing is when like you're establishing any sort of office or business overseas, you need to have like the right people on the ground. And so we need to find a an operations manager there, and it's about finding someone you can
Okay.
trust and then
Yeah. Yeah.
working from there.
Nice. Well, success to you in that.
Thank you.
Congrats on the company and all the successes that you've had so far. Because it's really hard to, launch a startup and have it be this successful and continue expanding like you are now looking into expanding into Kosovo. So it's not easy.
Oh, 100%. But that's one of the beauties of being raised in our culture. Like I said before, jemi puntuar, and we
Yeah.
work very hard. And um, all the Albanians that I meet, at least in our community here in New York, they're all super hardworking, and they're just trying to make a life better for themselves and their families.
What is a challenge you face since starting your company?
Biggest challenge is like not knowing what you don't know. So there are like when you start a company, you're kind of like just winging a lot of things
Mhm.
and learning through trial and error. Um, I would say sales was a big thing for me. Like I never had any sales training. I was never a salesman, and I had to learn like the hard way on how to sell. So early on, what I would do to get customers is I had like a long list, like 1,000 people, and I had what's called like a dialer. So it just dials each number, and if the person answers, great. If not, it goes to the next number. And I would hear like people would answer the phone and tell me to screw off, and they would say all types of things. Um, and I had to learn from that, like how to have a backbone and I had to learn that no is the first step to yes. And if you put in enough repetitions, you will get sales and you'll learn some strategies along the way. So that was the toughest part, is just embracing people saying no to you.
Okay. I feel like our culture has a difficult time with taking no for an answer. Did you read any like negotiation books or watch any like YouTube videos or did you take a course on that? Was
Um,
it more like trial and error for
a
you?
lot of it is trial and error.
Mhm.
But there's also a lot of educational resources now online that you can take. Like one person that really changed the trajectory of my business. He's a businessman himself, Alex Hermosi. For anyone that's watching that is into business, you should check out his videos online, sales, marketing, videos, scaling. So I did yeah,
Okay.
some YouTube videos, reading some books, but mostly
Yeah.
trial and error.
Yeah, because I know everything's online now, and even like there are videos from like Stanford, Harvard, all sorts of like educational videos that you don't even have to pay. I mean, unless you want like an actual degree, like I get that. But if you want to learn and you just want to keep on like improving yourself, improving your skills, like there are so many free resources online, and you just
Oh,
watch, learn, apply.
100%.
It's all right there.
I So when ChatGPT came out, it was a total game changer for me because I like to ask a lot of questions, but I'm also very impatient.
Mhm.
So, going through a whole textbook or a book to find the right answer, it's something that I'm like impatient about. And now with ChatGPT, I can understand the concept
Yeah.
much. faster than ever before. And that's also been a game changer because now like even like an email, right? I get like an email from someone or I'm negotiating a contract.
Mhm.
I can now use ChatGPT as a feedback loop to get the best response.
Yeah. Everything's just been changing at like a rapid speed,
Oh yeah.
especially with AI evolving and to the point that we're getting at. My mind is like, what's gonna go on in like 5 years from now, 10 years from now? We're probably gonna have robots be delivering our our Uber Eats and stuff.
I went a few months ago to Arizona
Mhm.
and I called an Uber and this car pulled up and it was a Waymo. If you don't know what a Waymo is, it's like a driverless taxi.
Okay.
So this car pulls up and I open the door and there's no driver.
Heck.
And I walk it and it was a 20-minute car ride,
Uh,
but it was just dead silent, no driver at all. And I'm like, this is gonna be the future where we just walk into a car, no drivers, and then the whole time I was on my phone, I could
you
control
feel
it.
safe?
I sent a video to my mom. She's like, "Oh, Rui, del featu, it's not safe."
I know, I would have been freaking out.
No, I was
You felt
perfectly
safe?
safe. Now that was in Arizona.
Mhm.
I don't know if I would feel as safe in New York because we don't have the best roads,
Yeah,
and we do have a lot more traffic, but they're trying right now, actually. I mean, across the country, they're trying to implement these driverless cars,
yeah.
and it'll happen. It's just a matter of when.
Gosh, can't imagine that. So how do you stay ahead in a fast-moving environment?
Um, I I live by the principle that you surround yourself with people that are much better than you, that are doing like very difficult, time-consuming things that they're solving like important problems. Um, and if you're not in that circle and you don't have that circle of friends or people around you, then at least you consume knowledge from the people that do have it. So that's how I've always stayed ahead. Just be around the right people. My mom used to say, like, you know, if if you stay with losers, you'll become a loser. And I've always I've always tried to like surround myself with good people. I would also say a lot of people like I can say like right now I had a conversation with my cousin where he's like I don't know what he's younger and he's like I don't know what to do, whatnot. And I say, well, we'll start with like what are your behavioral attributes that might be applied to a certain profession or something um that would lead to success. You know, some people are born salespeople. Some people, they're very technical. Could some people like they're born to be an engineer. Um, find that thing that you could be good at, not that you're passionate about, and then go find someone that is like an expert at it and just consume everything that comes out of their mouth.
Right. So find your strengths and work on that and just keep
Oh,
making them better. Don't
yeah,
focus on your weaknesses. A
yeah.
lot of people try to focus on their weaknesses and they try to like, okay, these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses. Let me just improve on my weaknesses a little bit more and don't really put as much energy on their strengths. But you're saying focus on your strengths and try to just get even better at that and make that your career.
Put 100% effort into the strengths that you have.
Mhm.
I also I think that there are a lot of people that like they'll do something for a short period of time and then say, oh, that didn't work.
Yeah.
It's very cliche to say, but consistency, it breeds success like 10 out of 10. If you do something long enough and well enough, you're going to see a good output of it. Um, yeah, it's just pure consistency.
Nice. And then what's next for you professionally or personally? What are your next goals?
Yeah.
Other
Well,
than just expanding to Kosovo, we got that part. That is a big, big project. But anything else?
um, I love business, so I'm looking at um starting new businesses. I have I'm actually right now I'm working with my girlfriend on a skincare and makeup business.
Nice.
So yeah, so I'm kind of helping on the business end
Uh-huh.
of things, and she's working on product development. So
Okay.
that's super exciting. And in between, like I invest in real estate as well. So that's something that I'm gonna continue to do for the rest of my life. I really like real estate, and it's cliche too because it's Albanians. We love our real estate as well.
Yeah.
Albanians have found a lot of success investing in real estate, so I'll continue to do that.
So we do have a segment on the podcast where it's just like fun questions, rapid fire questions. So
Let's do it.
favorite Albanian song?
Um, Favorite Albanian song, I would say. I don't. There's Il.
Mhm.
I think the name of the song is Jam ka du më të pa.
Okay. Is it? Jam ka duhet. Ah.
It goes like Jam ka du më të pa, Jam ka du më të pre.
Favorite place you've ever visited?
My favorite place that I've visited is probably, this is Albanian pie. It's probably Rogov, in Kosovo, just because it brings like peace and joy to my heart.
Oh. Do you know how to volley?
I do now, because my brother is getting married next year, so I was forced to really learn. My legs don't move well, so I had to
Okay.
do some practicing.
Okay, nice. Oh, how'd you learn? Just like with family members, or did you just take a class?
Um, it was my mom turning on YouTube
Oh,
on the TV and playing Albanian music and getting me to
getting you.
stand up and dance because she was like, "We have a wedding to prepare. You need to learn how to dance."
That's
So
funny.
yeah,
Your favorite food? Just favorite meal in general. It doesn't have to be Albanian.
octopus. It's like
Octopus.
anywhere grilled octopus, anywhere I go, if it has grilled octopus on the menu, I'm ordering it.
Oh, wow. Let's see. What do you like to do outside of work? Like your favorite hobbies?
I like to, I can say recently,
Mhm.
um, which is very lame. Some would say boring, but go on like very long walks. So
Okay.
I live right in New York City, and there's this part of the city called the High Line.
Hmm.
So it's a former train track that has turned into a walking path with a garden on the side. I've been doing that recently, and I'll walk for like an hour and a half each day.
Well, whoever says walks are boring, that is not the case because
Walks are the best.
walks are great. Yeah. You can do so many. You can listen to a podcast while you're on your walk. You can listen to music. You can just be thinking about. just get
whatever.
clear your mind. Yeah, like
Thinking.
literally anything. It's like a therapy. If you weren't living in New York, where would you be living?
In the winter time, probably Miami.
Okay.
Just because the weather is nice. I do love the warm weather.
Mhm.
Or or Paya, where my family's from.
Okay. What's your favorite meal to cook? Do you cook at all?
Yeah, I don't cook very often, but I do have a favorite meal. I make like a really good rigatoni, um, and and I'll every once in a while I'll make like a Mexican burrito that's like
Okay.
super easy for me to make.
Yeah. Thought you were gonna say an egg or something.
I can boil an egg.
Well, it was amazing to have you on the podcast. I think this was a great conversation just because we talked so much about, our Albanian background and just you doing so much cool stuff with your company. So I think
Thank you.
this is one, this is a great one. I'm excited to like finally be posting again because it's been so long since I've recorded an episode just because I've been busy here. So
That's good.
excited to have you. Yeah, well, it was my pleasure.
Thanks, Yuriana.
Yep.
If anyone is interested in outsourcing, looking into hiring overseas, they can visit our website, delegate.co.
Okay, nice.